Hello, welcome. And this video is going to be a different interview type video where it's really for the couple of people I spoke with today in person about Bitcoin. And you guys had mentioned to me you wanted to get into Bitcoin, but you weren't quite sure how to do it or why you should do it or what Bitcoin is. And so I thought I'd make this quick video to talk about where we are with Bitcoin right now, here in the United States and the world. In these current times, you see the market that just crashed, the stock market crashed recently. So you see all these things in the news, and then a couple of you came to me today and said, well, why should I buy Bitcoin? So I'm just going to share a few of my thoughts with you, and I thought it might be a good idea too to share it with everyone, put it on YouTube and let others benefit from this as well and learn a little bit from it as well in layman terms, because the biggest not criticism, but the biggest complaint I've heard from what we call no coiners, which are people who do not yet have Bitcoin. One excuse that's given to me a lot is, well, I don't understand it, all the words, the terms, it goes over my head, so I don't quite get it, so I'm hesitant. And what's happening is, if you let that hold you back, you won't get into crypto until, in my opinion, it's too late. Until you miss the train where you can't get the type of returns or profits that you want to get. So getting in earlier is better. So getting in, the next best time to getting in early is right now. So all right, so without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into it. So why, if you're brand new, why should you get Bitcoin? Why should you be thinking about it, especially when the market is crashing the way that it is after the Trump tariffs? It just came out a few hours ago where President Trump said he's going to put a pause on the tariffs for 90 days. So Bitcoin quickly rebounded right back. So for those watching who are new and nervous about the market, what you need to know is you really need to understand what the problem is or why this keeps happening, right? Why is it the middle class always seems like, and I consider myself middle class, why we don't have any money at the end of the month, right? You get paid, where did it all go, right? Well, what's happening is money is actually being stolen from us, okay? And when I say stolen, I mean in the form of the way our economy is set up. It's set up in such a fashion that if you're not lucky enough to own lots of assets, then it's very difficult for you to become wealthy or rich. Okay, very difficult, because it's set up against you. Okay, so Bitcoin counteracts that. Okay, so it gives everyone a chance. It gives everyone the best chance possible into building your finances, gaining wealth, and here's why. Up until 1971, our US dollar has been tied to gold. It's been backed by gold. So every dollar the US wanted to print had to be backed by a dollar's worth of gold. Okay. In 1971, President Nixon said, you know what? We're the world leader now. We're going to temporarily go off the gold standard so that we can just print money to use for this and for that. And he did that. Okay, so he convinced the American public that it was temporary, because the scholars and the people in the know, they knew that if we were separating ourselves from the gold standard, meaning having each US dollar backed by a dollar of gold, then it would make the middle class poor. It would drive inflation up. The US government would get greedy and just print, and the cost of everything would skyrocket, but wages would not, and most of America would be in trouble. So they pushed against it. They said, no, it's not a good idea. President Nixon and his team said, well, it'll be temporary, and then we'll switch it back. Okay. Kind of like you guys who switch your taxes to tax exempt here in the US. Okay, but anyway, so that's what happened. And then as time went on, of course, each president, in order to get elected, will say, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give you this program. I'm going to give you that program. Well, where are these programs, the dollars coming from, right? They're hitting that button, right? Printing money, and causes inflation to go up. That's why houses used to cost $10,000, $12,000. Now they cost $400,000 or $300,000. It's not just because the house is better. It's because we're losing the value of our dollar. So it takes more dollars. So for those of you who are brand new, I use this example with everyone, okay, to teach brand new people about inflation, okay? Think about inflation like this, and this will make our economy make a little more sense on why some prices of groceries are 2 and 3 times the cost they were before that illness that swept the planet. I can't say the name on YouTube. YouTube doesn't like it. It begins with a C though. Okay, that illness swept the planet. So groceries are 2 and 3 times the cost they were now versus then. Okay, and here's why. Let's say you and I are on an island. Okay, I have bottled water. Do I have some bottled water in here? Let's see. I did buy some. But anyway, so you and I are stranded on a deserted island. I have bottled water, and for the prop, bottled water, okay? So you have $200, okay? That's all the money that's on our island is $200. Well, I have bottled water, and you want this bottled water. So you say, how much for the bottled water? I say it's $100. You're like, $100? I only have $200. I'm like, well, it costs $100. You say, great. So I sell you the bottled water. So now, right, I have $100 and you have the bottled water, okay? On the island, there's $200, right? My 100 and your 100 now. Now, here comes John Doe, right, on a luxury cruise liner to our island. He has $1,000, okay? So he comes to the island with his $1,000, fancy clothes, and he says, okay, how much for bottled water? And I say, okay, how much do you have? He says, oh, I have $10,000. No, actually 1,000. Let's make it 1,000. He says, I have $1,000. I'm like, okay. Well, the price of my water now is $500, right? So now, of course, the first person I sold $100 water to is upset, right? But he's not, because he has 1,000. So I sell him my bottle of water. He gives me $500, right? So the reason why he is paying more is because there's more money now on the island. Okay, there's more money here. Before, there was only $200 on the island. Now there's 1,000 plus $200 on the island. So now that there's so much money, more money on the island, the prices of everything like this water go up. Okay, that's inflation. When I can't say the name of it, but when that disease that hit the planet hit us a few years ago, that begins with a C, okay, when that hit, the whole world halted. Okay, we stopped working. Half our country here in America stopped working. Okay, so, whoops. Okay, so everything shut down basically. So what did our government do? They started printing. Turn that money printer on, and they gave stimulus checks, PPP loans. They dumped a whole lot of money onto our island, okay, which caused the prices of everything to go up. That's inflation. Okay, so now let's look at what's happening now with Trump and the tariffs and everything. That's going to also cause inflation, because our system, economic system, and it's not just here in America, it's throughout the world. Everyone is doing this. All countries are printing all that money, okay, and their inflation is going up. But here's the thing, wages are not going up, okay? Everyone's wages aren't going up like the inflation is. That's why the middle class is getting poorer, and the rich who have assets like Bitcoin are getting richer, okay? So that's why inflation is bad, because really the natural state of everything is deflation, for things to get cheaper. But because our economic system is set up to take money away from you, if you're middle class with no assets, you get poorer. Okay, the rich who have assets get richer. Okay, so that's the problem. So Bitcoin solves that problem. Okay, Bitcoin's about 16 years old, came about after the global financial crisis. And the reason why Bitcoin is so good for you and why you should get it is because the US dollar has an unlimited supply. There's always more money printing. Remember the printer example. Bitcoin is not. It's the opposite. Bitcoin is capped. There can never be more than 21 million Bitcoin ever. Okay, 21 million. Of the 21 million, that won't even be mined for 100 and something years from now. But of the 21 million, there's only about, now listen to this, about 500,000 to about 1 million or 1.5 million. That's the guesstimation numbers of available Bitcoin to be purchased. Okay, so Bitcoin is, for those of you who are new, it's the most scarce resource on the planet Earth. It's scarce. Diamonds, you can always dig up more diamonds. Gold, you can always dig up more gold. Okay, but Bitcoin is capped. And there's only about 500,000 to 1 million or 1.5 million available. That's what our numbers are telling us, available to be purchased. Okay, but here's the thing, supply and demand, right? Well, because Bitcoin, you cannot hack the base layer of the protocol. Bitcoin's a protocol. It's not a stock, okay, like a lot of new people think. It's not. It's a protocol, okay? So it's not hackable right now. And I'm not going to get into the weeds on, or the details about how much hash power and how big is the Bitcoin computer network, because we're going to try to keep this video simple and to the point. But those are things all of you can learn on your journey as you dive into Bitcoin and learn more. But you can't hack it, okay? So it's secure, it's encrypted, it's protected, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is it's scarce, most scarce resource on the planet. There's only 500,000 to about 1 million or 1.5 million left for all time, okay, forever. Okay, so it's scarce. Okay, so and it has the biggest, it's basically like, for those of you who are Christian, it's like the Immaculate Conception, okay? Because the inventor, no one is managing Bitcoin, okay? That's the other thing. That's why there's trust built in the Bitcoin network, because there's no CEO to screw it all up, okay? There's no CEO to have a HR charge against them or something that can just mess it up for everybody, okay? Because there's no, so the inventor is a guy or girl or team. They called themselves Satoshi Nakamoto. They invented Bitcoin, and then they set it free to the world, and then went away, like the Immaculate Conception, right? They went away. So there's no one managing or making decisions on the Bitcoin. It's out there running and doing its thing. Okay, so again, it's scarce, it's protected, there's no one running it so they can mess it up. And because of that, you have, listen to this, you have countries buying Bitcoin because they figured it out, okay? Now, Bitcoin was made for all of us, you and me, for the average people, because the governments are messing everything up, okay? So it was invented for the common people as a way for us to gain wealth or to keep our wealth, right? And basically between you and me to get rich. That's why we're all here, right? Make as much money as possible. But so that's why Bitcoin was given to us, the people. Now corporations are finding out about it, okay? And they knew about it for a while, but they kept it on the down low, on the quiet. They kept it secret. And in public, they would say it's bad, only drug dealers use it, stay away from it. But in private, they were all buying it, okay, in private. but they couldn't let it get out. Then it got out. I used to have a YouTube channel years ago called Altcoin Crypto Tree. It's no longer there, but I did a video back then in like 2000 and what was it, 20 or 19, when I exposed Chase Bank for buying crypto, because they were Jamie Dimon was the CEO was always talking about how he hated Bitcoin. But anyway, I digress. So getting back to it so we can have a reasonable amount of time for this video. So those are the reasons why Bitcoin is really good. Okay, now I have to explain something a little bit further. Not only are other countries buying it, okay, El Salvador is one. They're using it as part of their national reserve. You have the country of Bhutan, who also is buying tons of it. You have many other, you have the BRICS nations, okay, that hate the US. Okay, they're now mining Bitcoin. I did a video on that. You can check it in my video list on the channel. But so countries are catching wind that Bitcoin is secure. No one can hack it. Okay, it's scarce. So as more people buy it, it goes up. So it's a good long-term investment that is producing higher returns than the stock market is. And it's safer than the stock market. Hello, it's a win-win. That's why they're buying it. That's why President Trump is the first president in the history of America that endorsed Bitcoin, spoke at the Bitcoin conference, and his entire cabinet is pro-Bitcoin and own Bitcoin. The entire cabinet of the president. His son, Eric Trump, is running a Bitcoin mining company, and he's a big spokesperson talking about how wonderful Bitcoin is. So if you're new, wondering, should I do Bitcoin or should I not? President Trump signed the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve and the Sovereign Fund with Bitcoin in it. Okay. Hello. Okay. So when you're doing your research, Google all those things, and you're going to see a plethora of information. Okay. But so there's many reasons now. So not only, so if you're new, not only are countries buying Bitcoin, and it's scarce. Okay. So as they buy it, it shrinks the supply. They're buying it, right? We also have universities buying it for their endowment. Okay. They're buying it. Okay. You also have U.S. states buying it at the state level. Okay, to help money in each individual state. And I made a video on that. You can check that down below. At the time when I made the video, which was maybe a month ago, there was about 10 U.S. states that have legislation right now going through the motions to get it signed so they can have their own strategic Bitcoin reserve for those states. Now there was about 10, now there's about 20 something states that are going through that legislation process. So you have countries, you have states, okay? You have companies. Well, I haven't even talked about that. The richest company in the world, BlackRock, okay? They're worth over 10 to 12 trillion dollars. Okay, they kicked off Bitcoin back in, was it January, February? Okay, they made their first huge purchase. I would think it was like $2 billion of Bitcoin. And most recently, last week, I think it was last week, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the richest company in the world, said that if the US government is not careful, Bitcoin will pass and surpass the US dollar. Whoa. Okay, for someone of that stature to say that, so all you got to do is follow the money. Okay, follow the money. And so those of you who I talked to today that said, should I buy Bitcoin? Should I not? I don't know. Here's the danger you face the longer you wait. Okay, right now, well, you had a big chance and you heard me talking about it. Those of you who know who you are, you heard me talking about Bitcoin saying, oh, it went down. Now's a great time to buy, right? It dipped down to about $75,000. $76,000 for one Bitcoin. I know what you're going to say. I don't have 75,000. Everyone says that to me too. You don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin. Try to get to 0.01 of a Bitcoin. Okay, I should get my little calculator out to tell you what that is. But 0.01 of a Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now on my other phone, I just pulled up the price. It's 83,101. Okay, so we're going to do 83,101 times 0.01, not 0.1, 0.01. That's $831. Okay, I've seen many videos on the internet saying how $831, it's backwards because it's the video thing. $831 can make you a millionaire. What? Not right away, of course, but over the years. So you want to get to 0.01 Bitcoin, which is $831 as of April 9th. Okay, you need to get there, okay, as fast as you can. Okay, that's a good start. Everyone says, how much Bitcoin should I buy? Where do I start? There it is, $831. Start there. Okay, now if you can't do that, that's okay. You can buy $10 a week, or $10 a paycheck, $20 a paycheck, $50 a paycheck. It doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is you start. And what is most important is that you learn about Bitcoin. That's the most important thing. Learn about it. Because if you just buy, if you run out tomorrow and bought even $100 of Bitcoin, right? As soon as Trump initiates another tariff and Bitcoin dips, if you don't learn about Bitcoin, you're going to panic and you're going to run and sell. That's the worst thing you can do. Why? Because let's say you panic and you sell, right? Because it dropped. So you bought it at, say, $85,000 for one Bitcoin. You bought a piece of it, not a whole Bitcoin. But you bought a piece. Bitcoin, Trump says, okay, tariffs. Bitcoin goes to 75,000. You panic and you sell, right? Then a few months later, Bitcoin's at 100,000. And then you say, oh, maybe I should buy. It's moving up. I was wrong. And you buy back in more expensive than before. All right, it's not very smart. So buy Bitcoin. My advice would be on a regular basis, whenever you get money, whenever you get paid, buy a little bit of Bitcoin and just sit there and enjoy the ride. Get your popcorn, sit back, eat it, and watch the show. It's better than any drama, any suspense movie. Or you're gonna have ups, downs. There's gonna be a villain. There's gonna be a superhero, like Michael Saylor. He's a superhero. Okay, Google that name and check up on him if you're new. Michael Saylor, Saylor. He's a superhero in the Bitcoin community. So there's a few other good ones, but and then there's villains like a Peter Schiff. He could be like Darth Vader, right? Peter Schiff's a villain in the Bitcoin world. So we have our own community. It's fun. The other positive thing I would tell you if you're new looking at Bitcoin is when you talk to other people who own Bitcoin, it's like family. It's like a community because we all have a common goal. We all believe in that we should make smart decisions. Okay, we all believe in discipline, right? Invest in Bitcoin over a period of time, or if you have it like that, all at once, or however you want to do it. And we believe that, or we feel that we're tired of governments messing up our money, right? So we want our money to grow. We don't want people to reach in and mess up our money or just be at their expense. We want to control our own destiny, okay? And there's a camaraderie and a bond in that, right? That's a Bitcoin community. Here's the other crazy thing about Bitcoin, okay? Let's say Donald Trump starts funding their strategic national reserve with a lot of Bitcoin, right? You who just get in for $50, you benefit every single time Donald Trump buys more Bitcoin. You benefit, okay? Now, here's the other crazy thing. Let's say China, who doesn't like us right now, let's say they buy Bitcoin. China's helping you as well. So not only are people here in America contributing to your success if you're in Bitcoin, but our enemies are also contributing to your success if you own Bitcoin, because they're mining Bitcoin right now. Russia right now is mining Bitcoin. So is China, okay, right now. So they're helping you if you own Bitcoin, okay? So I know it's crazy, but this is the first time in human history that we've had nearly perfect money. Okay, we've never had it before. We've had seashells, right? We've used fur skins, we've used all types of things as money. We bankrupted many economies, many countries, especially the seashells story, but that's a different story. But we've used cigarettes as money. We've used Pokemon cards, baseball cards, right? My comic books, right? Everything. So yeah, so we've used a lot of things as money. And most recently, the best thing we've used before Bitcoin was gold. Gold was a great store of value. But now Bitcoin is better because it's digital. You can send it to anyone like that for this much money. It's really inexpensive. I just the other day I moved some Bitcoin from one wallet to another wallet to cash out to pay for some stuff, and it cost me like 20 cents, okay, to do that. So take it out. So it's very cheap, okay. And the other thing, you new people, Bitcoin, you have access to it whenever you need it or want it. My recommendation is leave it in at least for 4 years, okay, if not 10 years, okay, but just leave it in as long as you can. And of course, if you need it because it's your money. You have access to it whenever you want. You could take it out in 2 days or tomorrow or the same day if you want to. But if you let it sit in there and work and germinate, right? Let it work, then you'll be in a much better position. So that's my advice to those of you who I spoke to today who are looking at Bitcoin for the first time, didn't know what to do. How should I do it? I have another video down below on crypto wallets, okay? But if you're brand new, what I recommend to start, if you're brand new, start with either Cash App, okay, or Coinbase. I'll put a link down below to Coinbase, Cash App, Coinbase, okay, or Gcash if you're one of my friends in other countries. Okay, if you're in Philippines, Australia, Thailand, use Gcash because it's on Gcash. If you're here in the US, you can use PayPal. Okay, you can use that. But yeah, but the most important thing is to get in and then learn, watch videos, read books. Here's a good book. It's called The Bitcoin Standard. The Bitcoin Standard. Excellent book. Okay, get that book if you're brand new, if you're the type that likes to read books on things. The Bitcoin Standard. So that's good too. And then Jeff Booth has a really good one too. Forgot the name of his book. I'm drawing a blank. I'll put it in the description below. What's it called? The Money of Tomorrow or something? I forgot the name of his book, but I'll put it in the description. So hopefully, okay, I went a bit long. It's 29 minutes. I went a bit long, but I love talking about Bitcoin. I get excited talking about it. You can see my face getting brighter, even talking about it now. So I could talk about it for another couple hours, but this is basically the advice and a little information I wanted to give you if you're new. One more quick story on Bitcoin for the new people. You've hung with me this far, you might as well hear this last story. All right, so we all know about the Roman Empire, right? And money debasement, because I think a lot of the problem is people, at least that I talk to on a daily basis, they don't really understand why our dollar is going down. They don't understand why it's so hard to make money. All they know is it's hard, right? Or all they know is, yeah, I just don't have that much money at the end of the month. Where does it all go? And we've gotten used to it. Well, I'm going to tell you about the gladiators. You know, everyone's seen the movie Gladiator. right? Strength and honor, right? Strength and honor, gladiators. Well, the Roman Empire, a big reason the Roman Empire fell is the same reason why the U.S. is going down now too, with the way our monetary system is and our U.S. dollar, and that is debasement. The Roman Empire used a silver coin to pay their soldiers for fighting in the wars. They couldn't afford to pay their soldiers anymore because they ran out of that silver. So they debased the currency. They put bronze in, they put copper, mixed it all up with some other things, gave it to the soldiers, said, here's your pay. And they figured out it wasn't real silver. And they said, wait a minute, I'm not fighting and dying for this. It's not even real money. I want my real money. They said, that's all I have. Well, I quit. Okay, so then the hordes overtook them and they didn't have the soldiers to defend them. That's an oversimplified explanation, of course, but it brings the point or drives the point home of debasement. Okay, the same thing is happening to our US dollar for the money printing reasons I gave you earlier. Okay, so, but for the new people, congratulations on making this decision to, it's getting darker. Congratulations on making this decision to get some Bitcoin. You're on the right path. Buy and hold, buy and hold. Do not trade it, buy and hold, and let it work for you in the background. So if you like the video, give a thumbs up, like and subscribe, hit the like button, subscribe button. Tell your friends about this video so they can hear some information on why they should get into Bitcoin as well. If you like the video, go ahead and do that. And we do have crypto giveaways on the channel. You're automatically entered when you leave a comment, a nice comment. It could be, hello, how are you? Video was good, or I want to know more about this, or I was wondering about that, or thanks for the video, or whatever. But you'll automatically be entered into our crypto drawing, and then we give away $50 of free Bitcoin. And hopefully you'll win it, because we pay our winners every time. We've done 5 of those. We've given away $50 5 times. So once we get a sponsor and continue to grow, so share this video, get other people to subscribe so we can grow. And then when we get sponsors, we can give away more money and do it more often, okay? Because we want to just spread the word of Bitcoin to everyone and let them know how great Bitcoin is and how it can help each family's situation, each business, everyone. So, all right, well, until next time, like, subscribe. I'll see you all on the next one, and have a good day.